the 2026 to 2027 cycle has the potential to be one of the wildest in recent memory.
NASCAR isn't just adjusting rules for 2026, they're changing everything, from the cars to the drivers, teams, and even who gets to race. These updates will shake up how the sport looks and feels, and fans everywhere are already reacting. Let's start with the engines. NASCAR is bringing back the 750 horsepower package for Cup cars at tracks under 1.5 miles. This used to be the standard, and it made races feel raw, intense, and high stakes. Fans have wanted it back ever since it was taken away. Now, it's officially coming in 2026. More horsepower means faster, harder to control cars. It takes real skill to handle that power. Drivers will need to be sharper, and mistakes will cost more. For fans, it means closer battles, more passing, and a better show on short tracks. But it's not just about speed. NASCAR is combining this power boost with a rules package used in 2024 for road courses and short tracks. That includes a 3-inch rear spoiler and fewer diffuser strakes, small parts under the car that help it stick to the track. With fewer of those, the car gets less grip, meaning drivers will need more finesse and control. 5 major tracks, Bristol, Darlington, Dover, Nashville, and Gateway, are moving into this short track rule set. These aren't easy tracks to begin with. They're tough, fast, and physical. Adding more power and less grip is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Expect more side-by-side action, more spin-outs, and more late-race drama. But NASCAR isn't stopping with just car setups. Safety is changing too. Every Cup car in 2026 must use an A-post flap, a piece beside the windshield that works like a roof flap. It pops up when a car spins to stop it from lifting off the ground. Until now, this was only required at superspeedways like Daytona and Talladega. But starting in 2026, it'll be mandatory at all tracks, no matter the size or speed. Also, the area under the flap must be painted bright orange. Not a light orange, we're talking traffic cone orange. This is for visibility. If a car's in trouble, crews and safety workers need to spot it fast. It might seem small, but that color change could save lives in the right moment. So far, we've got more power, tougher handling, new rules at key tracks, and safety upgrades. But that's just the start. The real twist comes with the drivers. NASCAR is changing who can race in which series. Cup drivers with more than 3 full seasons can now race in up to 10 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series events per year, double the old limit. In the Truck Series, they'll be allowed 8 races instead of 5. At first, this sounds exciting. Big stars racing more often in the lower series could bring more eyes to more races. Fans get to see their favorites compete more often, and young drivers get to learn from racing the best. But there's a downside. Most of the cars Cup drivers use in these lower series are owned by Cup team bosses. That means when they race, it's usually with more resources, better equipment, and more support than full-time Xfinity or truck teams can afford. This tips the balance heavily in favor of the big teams. The result? Smaller, independent teams, the backbone of the sport, get pushed out of the spotlight. Their drivers lose media attention, sponsors, and chances to shine. It's a big concern for many in the garage. And even with these new opportunities, Cup drivers still can't race in the regular season finales or playoff events in these lower series. So they swoop in mid-season, steal wins and headlines, then leave before the championship is decided. That creates drama, but not always the good kind. Young drivers are also affected by big changes. NASCAR is lowering the age limit to race. In the O'Reilly Series, 17-year-olds can now race on road courses and short ovals. In the Truck Series, it drops to 16. Yes, 16 years old. Some of these drivers won't even be old enough to vote, yet they'll be racing nearly 200 miles per hour against grown adults chasing championships. That's a huge shift for a sport that once demanded more experience before reaching the national level. NASCAR's reason is simple. They want younger fans. And younger drivers bring in that audience. Kids and teens are more likely to follow someone their own age. It's part of NASCAR's bigger goal to connect with Gen Z and Gen Alpha, fans raised on social media, fast highlights, and constant content. These young stars aren't just drivers, they're potential influencers, brand faces, and streaming personalities. NASCAR sees them as the key to long-term growth, both on and off the track. But letting teenagers race in these high-stakes environments carries risk. These young drivers haven't had years of experience, and since real testing is limited now, the only way for them to learn is to race. NASCAR is basically saying, we'll teach you by throwing you into the race. Some call it smart, others call it dangerous. Either way, it's happening. And it's not just about drivers. NASCAR is also raising the bar for the companies building the cars. In 2026, any new manufacturer, think Honda or any company trying to join, must pass a tough testing rule. They get only 3 test sessions. Each session allows just 3 teams with 2 cars each, that's 6 cars max. All tests must be done by March 1st. And here's the kicker. No testing is allowed at tracks that are newly paved, added to the schedule, or hosting races within 60 days of the test. So, no trying to get a secret advantage. This means any new brand that wants to race against Chevy, Ford, or Toyota must be ready. If they mess up, there are no do-overs. They're out. It's clear NASCAR wants to open the door to new players, but only if they can prove they're prepared. These rules are tight on purpose. It's about keeping the competition fair and fast. Now, when you put all these changes together, what do you get? Cars that are harder to drive, more drama at big tracks, safety upgrades across the board, veteran drivers returning to lower series, teenagers battling for national wins, and new car makers facing huge pressure just to join. This isn't just about speed, it's about survival. For teams, these rules mean more planning, more pressure, and more risks. For young drivers, it's a trial by fire. For fans, it means racing in 2026 will look and feel very different, and probably more exciting. Some people are cheering. They say this is what NASCAR needs: more action, more stars, and more drama. Others are worried. Will it hurt small teams? Is it too risky for young drivers? And what about Cup drivers dropping down to dominate smaller series? If they win, they're bullies. If they lose, they're outshined by rookies. Either way, fans are going to have opinions. And here's what makes it even more intense. NASCAR hasn't even released the updates to the sporting rules or race procedures yet. Those are expected in January. So this story isn't over. More changes are still coming. Let's review what's ahead for NASCAR in 2026. The 750 horsepower package is returning for short tracks. 5 major tracks are moving under a new, more aggressive rule set. A-post flaps and bright orange markings are being added for safety. Cup drivers will be allowed to run more races in the lower series. Teen drivers can now compete at even younger ages. And new manufacturers will only get one chance to prove they're ready to join the sport. In short, NASCAR is all in on change. They're not just updating, they're challenging the entire system. So now it's your turn. Is this the future NASCAR needs, or is it all happening too fast? Let us know in the comments below. Because in 2026, the race isn't just on the track, it's in every rule, every driver lineup, and every test session. And it's just getting started. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with even more racing updates. Stay tuned.